Shabbat Shalom and greetings to you all. Now, have you noticed how the sun comes up just a little bit later every day? It's very noticeable. Both in the morning and evening, the inexorable wheel of universal time is showing us that it continues. And another new moon's almost upon us. The new moon of Leo's coming in. The first instructions were to honor the new moon. It is our time marker, my friends, and as we enter the height of summer, we want to make sure we're living life to the fullest, putting our intention to celebrate, live life out in the universe of energy. Getting out and celebrating, these are natural experiences of life, but celebrations, of course, have always been times for us to gather. And it continues to be something that's a little bit harder to do right now. But right now, let's all gather together as a like-minded group in the collective consciousness of seekers showing faith and love, a community, a chavura, fellowship, as we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all. This community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light and keeping fear at bay. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody in, physically, psychically, digitally, emotionally, spiritually. Any way you want to come gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov. Shevet Achita. Hine Matov. Shevet Achita. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community, community, community. Together. Because we are a community, my friends, so let's all spread love, goodwill, fellowship to the world. Remember, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space to honor, converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in. It's part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. We're going to talk about intention today. Let's take some time now to send some of that goodwill, some light, some healing with intention to heal to whoever you know that needs it, because the world needs it. Healing and renewal for everybody. It floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. Think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them, call their names. It's not just for people, it's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world, the tikkun olam, that's become part of our spiritual genetic makeup. So let's send thoughts and energy for health and renewal for everybody in need. For those in our hearts and minds, for Dan and Bob, for Jack, for Helen, Stephen, and Miriam, for Karen, Tali, for Esther, for Martin, for Devorah. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, the goodwill and love we all send out. It just circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Shabbat. Avotenu. Bakor. Limotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Yishaberach, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as is healed before me. Yishaberach, may he who blessed, because all healing is a blessing, my friends. So let's send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now we've reached the end of the book of Numbers, the book in the wilderness, with another two-part reading. And the end of this book marked for many the end of the narrative, as we read matot and masei, tribes and travels. Now this two-part read covers another variety of items, as they all do. And the ones to take note of are issues that deal with vows. Vows made by men, vows made by women, the karmic duty to carry them out. We're reminded that our words have weight and meaning. It talks about the unusual and unexpected Midian war and Moses' instructions for the mass killing of almost everybody and how they're going to divide the slaves and the booty. And it gives us a review, almost like a Reader's Digest kind of summary, of all the travels of the people. And it's conspicuous by what's not in there. We also get instructions about the famous sanctuary cities and what they were really for. Safe zones to ensure fair trials and prevent vengeance killing. And we see the change, almost as an afterthought, of the rights of inheritance. While its intent might have been right, for many it represents taking a giant step backwards. And the book ends with the people poised to move into the promised land, which will not occur until the book of Joshua, which is not part of the 5 books of Moses. Next week we begin Deuteronomy, the second telling of the law, Moses' famous farewell address, and highlights of what we already know. And so for many, this was the real ending of the story of the wilderness journey. And so it summarizes a lot of things that have taken place. We're told that there are wars that are going on. Numbers 31:1. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, wreak the vengeance of the Israelites against the Midianites. Afterwards you shall be gathered to your kin. So Moses is now told he's going to die. He's not going to enter the promised land. But before he dies, he's to obliterate his wife's country and its male inhabitants. But it's more than the male inhabitants. The Midianites, in an act of vengeance. And yet, of course, in the same parsha, methods to prevent vengeance are going to be proposed. And this can become very confusing for people. So you're going to see some things that maybe you kind of wonder were added later. Now, we're told this whole Midianite thing was because of Balaam. The same Balaam we read about a week or so ago, who blessed Israel. Now, Balaam's been pictured as a prophet who faithfully pronounces God's words, who blesses Israel, and therefore offends the Moabite king who hires him. Okay, so it wasn't the Midianites who hired Balaam, it was the Moabites. But the Midianites are to pay the price for it. So could this be one of those passages that was edited in later to help justify subsequent actions? We'll never know. The battle takes place. The Israelites win. Numbers 31:15. And Moses was furious with the commanders of the force, the captains of the thousands, the captains of the hundreds, who came from the battling army. And Moses said to them, you have let every female live. Look, these are the ones who led the Israelites by Balaam's words to betray the Lord's trust. There was a scourge against the Lord's community. And now kill every male among the little ones, and every woman who has known a man in line with a male, kill. So Moses is upset because the army let people live. Does this sound right to you? It doesn't sound right to me. And the Lord said to Moses, saying, count the heads of the spoil of the captives, both human and beast. You and Eleazar the priest and the heads of the fathers of the community, and you shall divide the spoil in half between those who bore arms in battle, who went out to the army, and the whole community. The division of goods and people. And people means slaves. If you left, the Lord said to Moses out, who would you think this is about? Certainly not the Israelites. Certainly not people who had been enslaved and were seeking freedom, decency, and humanity. This is not the first reference to vengeance we will see in this parsha. This is community vengeance. We're also going to see individual vengeance. And that you're going to see in the second part of the 2-part parsha when they talk about the sanctuary cities. Now, the second half is all about the travels of the people. And it's a quick little Reader's Digest geography lesson of the journeys from Egypt, listing all the places that they've been, but really not all the places they've been. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travels I've had my share, man. Oh, I've been everywhere. But surprisingly, and it's really surprising, so many important episodes with their place names that we know do not appear in this itinerary. And surprisingly, the central stop at Mount Sinai, the crucial one, is not actually mentioned. Instead, only a stay in the wilderness of Sinai is mentioned. Doesn't seem like, captured the whole thing. So there's something that's, again, been added later. As the book of Numbers draws to a close, with the Israelites ready to begin the conquest of the land, sequence of events that will not be reported until the book of Joshua, the reality of the land in which Israel will dwell is formalized at this point through this mapping out of its borders. And that's why we got this whole list of places they've been. Now, these borders are really only partially consistent with the borders that we find out about in Joshua and in Ezekiel. And it's doubtful whether they completely correspond to any historical contours of Israelite dominion. But one of the things emphasized again is this idea of the towns of asylum, the sanctuary cities. Numbers 35:11. Towns of asylum you shall have, and a manslayer may flee there, one who strikes down a person by mistake. And the towns will be an asylum for you from the avenger. And the manslayer will not die until he stands before the community for judgment. And the towns that you give, 6 towns of asylum you shall have. 3 towns you shall get beyond the Jordan, and 3 towns in the land of Canaan. Towns of asylum these shall be for the Israelites, for the sojourner, for the settler in their midst. These 6 towns shall be an asylum for everyone who strikes down a person in error. But if he struck him with an iron tool and he died, he is a murderer. The murderer is doomed to die. I spoke earlier about intent and how intent was so important. And here's another of the places it comes up so strongly. We have a law based on intent. The distinction between kill versus murder, accident versus by design. You begin to understand that it is intent that determines the twists and turns of life. Your karma. Think of your intent in the things that you say and the things that you do. Now, the Hebrew word rotzeah is used for both an intentional murderer and here for someone who has committed manslaughter, unintentional. Right? So we have this issue between intent to kill and no intent to kill. And that's why intent became so important in determining what was going on. And things like the type of weapon became very important to be considered in determining intent. Some weapons are designed for death and destruction. The point of this idea of the sanctuary city was again for the protection of life, the life of the killer. There was to be no vengeance killing, no avenger. And the term that they use here is goel hadam, blood avenger. There was to be no emotional reaction. If someone caused accidental death, they had to face proper justice. They were protected if they fled to one of these cities. And we see this interconnectedness again between man and nature, when in Numbers 35:33 we're provided with this beautiful reminder of what we saw in Genesis after Cain murdered Abel, and God said that the land cried out to him because of the blood. So we're reminded, you shall not pollute the land in which you are, for blood will pollute the land. We pollute the world with much of our actions, my friends. Remember, there was talk of vengeance in the Midian war, and there is talk of vengeance here, but here it's preventing it from happening. Now, vengeance can often be used as a tool for justification, both on a personal and on a national level. But vengeance is never good. We run the risk of justification, and sometimes in justifying, we give it like a divine protection that it was meant to be. The Second World War came to an end. We forgave the Germans, then we were friends. Though they murdered 6 million in the ovens they fried, the Germans now too have God on their side. Bob Dylan put it really well with that God on our side. And although it's almost a throwaway, we have to realize that all of these things are putting together this whole series of events. We had, the Midianite war and the mass destruction of everybody as a vengeance thing. Then we had the reminder that you can't have vengeance killing because it pollutes the land. Some of these things were added later. We don't know which ones were added, which ones aren't. We only guess on some of these things. And we find reasons for why anything is in there. And again, part of that becomes our justification for what we read. And again, almost as a throwaway at the beginning of the Parsha, but which turned into an immediate other direction, is that important reminder for us all, which is found in Numbers 33, all about vows. Should a man take a vow or make an oath to the Lord to take upon himself a binding pledge, he shall not profane his word. According to all that issues from his mouth, he shall do. As so often happens in the Bible, my friends, a word is used to mean a much larger group. Bread for food, man for all humanity. Words had weight, words had meaning. No words were more important than the vows one would make, the promises. And promises had to be honored. They still have to be honored. Your word binds you. Sometimes today we forget the power of words and oaths and promises and vows. Do not give them lightly. It is so important, and while I say it was a throwaway line near the beginning, it is one of the key underlying points here, that our words are the things that bind us, because our words have the intent behind them. Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in an expression of gratitude. Light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light. And all who live in the light and continue to shine, continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself, maybe mostly yourself. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them, and take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy your journey, my friends. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our efforts to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now bless you all. Have a great week. Week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives. It's our intention, our Kavana, our cause, our effect. Everything is linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven, because you have the knowledge of what's good and bad. So acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness, but do so with sincerity, with accountability, and with vulnerability. Forgive those you've hurt as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret to forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself? Can you accept other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It is your home. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill wherever you go, my friends, and never follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith, an unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love and all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year, and may you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of your real power lies in your consciousness and your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. So make the most of your time in this life. Continue to touch and transform lives around you, because you're never alone. You're forever blessed and have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet, health, love, and renewal to everybody you come across. We're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless, be generous, bless others, and in doing so, you bless yourself. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger, and be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. And continue to explore faith and belief, and never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other. We're there, each of us, trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them and tell them what they mean. Remember, you're never alone on your journey to your promised land. So watch your words, because they can hurt you, they can heal you, they can imprison you, and they can free you. They're very important. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive. Keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. And listen to the voice of God as he, she, it talks to you. Talks to you now, talked to you long ago on the mountain, telling you how easy the mystery of life really is. And remember, your word, your promises, stand by what you say. Don't forget, the world was created by words. And we have to use our promises to sustain these things. I don't care if you never come home. I don't mind if you just keep on rolling away on a distant sea, because I don't love you and you don't love me. I got a problem Can you relate? I got a woman called it love-hate. We made a vow that we'd always be friends. How could we know that promises end? La la, la 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 la, la la, la 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 la. Now, thank you for joining me, my friends. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Now, get out, enjoy the summer, celebrate the great gift of freedom, make it a part of who you are. And I will see you all soon. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care, and we'll see you soon.